Hey Rebels, it's Charlie, your host of the Salon Rebel podcast. Today I have my favorite guest, which is, of course, myself. I wanted to talk a bit about a few things of just what's going on in my business life right now. Sometimes it's just nice to get it all out on a rant. Sometimes you guys love it. And I'm sure sometimes you guys are like, not this again. So here we go. I'm going to touch base on my three businesses, where they're at. And if you guys have any advice for me, please feel free to hit me up and let me know what you think. I'm going to first start off with the nest. So I've got a salon with, I think we have 17 team members right now. We went through some big changes earlier in the year where we've had a turnover of team. I guess what's happening in the industry now is that when people get to a certain point in their careers, we end up losing them to freelance, or they become moms and they go part-time. And there really isn't as many, I guess, older stylists out there that are working for salons. And so essentially our teams are getting younger. I see it in many other salons, and it's something that I think we just have to get over. And if I were to stay trying to look for somebody, for other team members that were, more my age, because I'm 40 now and I want to hire people in their 30s or whatever, I feel like it would just be so hard to find that in the style of salon that I have now, which is not a rent-a-chair salon. We do commission-based, so people can really grow their client base. They can earn shitloads of money working in a commission structure like that. But on the flip side, it doesn't give them the 100% freedom in controlling their own schedule. They are still, they still need to show up for work from this time to that time as planned and request time off, blah, blah, blah. So because of that model, we need to still have people up and coming in the future, which is why we hire apprentices. Apprentices are going to lead into the future of hairdressing. And really, if we don't hire apprentices, we're going to run out of stylists, because the stylist position really doesn't last forever. There's not that many people that are even above 40 that are still hairdressers. Often we get too much RSI, things happen, we have babies, or we change careers. And so really, we're going to need to keep pumping in hairdressers. Otherwise, we're not going to have salons like we have now. So apprenticeships are super important. And I found over the last couple of years that my team has gotten younger and younger. Right now, my team is the youngest that it has ever been. And it's something that I have come to terms with, but also learned to really love, because it's kind of kept me feeling a bit younger working with younger girls. I do find it a little bit easier to motivate and inspire and mentor the younger generation, as opposed to somebody that's just like a couple years younger than me. It's kind of one of those like, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Like, honestly, it can be a problem sometimes. So it's actually really nice and refreshing to have people that are in my salon that are like really excited to be in the salon space. They're not just like, complaining about the day-to-day. They're excited to be there. They want to learn how to do, hairdressing, and they really want to be a part of that business. They love their friends. And now I've just started noticing like the next group in the salon who are like going out on the weekends and like going a bit nuts. And I'm watching these girls like basically like grow up. Like, they've come on board as like teenagers, under 18, and then they start going out and they start having fun together. And it's really nice and fun to see, because I'm not at that point in my life anymore, but I still get to watch it from the sidelines and watch them kind of have that salon life with their friends in there that I have always loved. So while I'm not in that anymore, I still get to kind of watch them, and it's really fun. So we have spent a lot of time this year really restructuring the team. And I want to just tell you how I structure my team and the roles that I have in that and how that works, because I think for some people that maybe want to get off the floor one day, they're not really sure what kind of roles they can have in their salon and how that all works. And I think it's just interesting to find out how somebody does it. So what we do with our leadership is I have what I call a leadership team. I don't have like one manager who is in charge of everything or, everybody, because I find that it's good to have defined roles and have them have them in charge of different things within their business. It protects you as well if something happens and that one person were to leave. Like, I think putting all your eggs in one basket and expecting one person to run your entire salon, and then if something happens, they quit, or something happens and then you have to let them go. You really have to take 10 steps back into your business, and it can be really life altering to go through those changes. So one thing I find really important is just making sure that the roles that you structure aren't putting everybody in charge of anything, and that it's quite shared between a team. So if you were starting off, say, with like only 3 and 4 employees, you could definitely still do this at a different scale and have people in charge of certain areas. It also gets their head around like taking care of different responsibilities and making sure that they have the chance to do those really well. If you just take an employee, especially if you're taking an employee and you're putting them from like your regular stylist position and you've just decided to make them a manager without giving them like the space to be able to do that, without having them say they have a fully booked clientele, like you cannot give them the management tasks that you may want to because they don't have time. So if you want to give somebody one task, say the task is like, ordering stock, and you give that to somebody so that they are in charge of that. You could do this at whatever capacity you would like to have your salon run. You do not need to have one person that is in charge of doing everything, but you do need to have somebody that is going to keep team accountable for their tasks. So say you divvied out all of the tasks in the salon, you had stock ordering, or like, I don't know, say you didn't have a receptionist, so you had somebody on emails, someone on content creation, somebody making sure that the salon is kept up, that like salon supplies like drinks and snacks are ordered. Somebody could have a different role in that, but you still need somebody to make sure that those people are getting those things done. Hey Rebels, this episode is brought to you by the Biz Tool Boutique, where we share with you my most loved systems and programs to help you with the day-to-day in running your service-based business. We are also taking on a couple select few for our mentorship program. If you want to head to the link below, we'll tell you all about that. We offer mentorship programs and mentorship plus ads, which is my personal favorite, where I get to walk you through and literally do your ads for you in the same way that we are absolutely smashing ours today in my own business. If that's something that you'd like to know more about, head to the link below, and don't forget to follow along, subscribe, and press that 5-star button. And that could be one person's job. The person could literally, their only job is making sure everybody else is doing their jobs, right? And whether or not that's you or you want to hand that off to somebody else. Handing that off to somebody else is a great thing to be able to do, because it means you are no longer the nag, making sure that everybody is getting things done. And you get to step back and you get to be the fun cop instead of the bad cop. And that's exactly what my position is now, which I absolutely love. So my structure of my team is that we have a floor manager, which is a stylist on the floor who manages the team inside the salon. And then we have a coordinator, which really manages more of the clients and helps out with the team, and she's on the front desk. And then we have Amber, who is my EA, who manages more of the marketing side of the stuff of the salon. And then myself, which is the CEO, that really makes the big decisions, makes sure that the ball is rolling, and I manage my leadership team, and the leadership team manages my team. And if I have to be called in because somebody is, out of line, or they don't know how to mentor somebody or help them, then I will step in there as well. I think it's important that I still know who my team are, but I'm not as involved as I used to be. And it's been really nice to have that balance, because like I said, it's like I get to be kind of the good cop now, and other team members, not that I want to say they have to do the dirty work or be the bad cop, but I guess essentially, yeah, they do deal with the day-to-day stuff. And I think there was nothing more annoying to me, or what I hated more, is having to go into my business and have to have a one-on-one conversation with somebody where I had to pull them up on something and I wasn't even there the day before. I was like, why am I going into my business and telling Stacy off for not taking the bins out last night, and I didn't even work last night. Like, it just puts kind of like a dirty feeling into it that I'm just like, somebody's ratted you out to me and now I'm telling you off. Like, I hated that. So it's been really nice to be able to let go of that. So this is sort of how this works, is that the floor manager manages. I think about it as like, if you can think about like the client experience, the roles are really divided between like the client experience. So you've got your client experience and you've got coming into the salon and when they're leaving the salon. So those two touch points, is that responsibility is for the coordinator. So them booking in, them checking out, checking on their appointments. It's all those things around that appointment, right? When they are in for that appointment, it is the floor manager who is essentially making sure that those clients are being taken care of. The team are doing the work that they need to be doing. The salon is kept up. We have what we need. If we need stuff, she tells the coordinator to make sure that, we're ordering things. She's really looking after the clients while they're in there. And then my EA, who is my content creator / everything Amber, does all of our marketing. So she's taking care of the clients to making sure that before they come in, before they've even had their first appointment, before they've even booked with us, that she is getting in contact with these clients. So she's getting those people coming in and she's making sure that that experience is the same all the way through. So we want to make sure that our client experience and that journey is the same, the same brand voice, the same level of customer service from the very beginning when they first find out about us. So that is my content creator role and my marketing role. And then it goes to my coordinator role, who is taking care of that client once they've made that initial contact. And then the role of the salon floor manager, who is managing the team and making sure that we are up to date with everything. Now, I find this works amazingly because it means too, if something were to happen, like me being the CEO, I can step in and help with all of those roles, and I manage those roles, and then they manage the other roles underneath them. So our apprentices, our stylists, things like that. And it works fantastic. It's given me the flexibility to be able to do other projects, to work on my other brands. And it's working really, really well. So if you are at that point where you want to start, delegating tasks and doing things, start with just delegating a few tasks to somebody and testing out those waters. I do find that I've had experience where I've hired management from within my team. It doesn't always work out well. They're not always the right person for that position. So if you're going to make that decision to do that, I would always suggest giving them a time frame of like what your expectations are and how long you're going to give it to see if that works. And also tell them that if you don't see the results that you want, and if they're not able to perform the way that you need them to in the role, that role might be taken from them later. It's not because you don't like them or anything. It's like, this is a test. You've not done this role before. You've not had any leadership experience. I'm going to give you a nugget. We'll see how you do with that. And sometimes they do really well and sometimes they don't. This is very typical, especially for like content creation. If you have somebody that's doing content creation within your salon, I'm sure that you have had this experience before where you give them the work to do and then they do it for 3 weeks and then they just stop doing it. And you're like, why did you stop doing it? And they're just like, oh, like I forgot. And you're like, well, like, how am I supposed to put you, especially if they want more leadership in the future, you're like, you can't even remember to do one task. How are you supposed to remember to do all these other things? But giving out, before going and giving somebody like a leadership role, giving them a small responsibility and making sure that they can nail that and prove that to you before you go and get yourself in a bit of a pickle and you've just put your stylist in a manager's position and you're like, I don't like the way that she leads my team. Now what do I do? Because it's very hard to demote somebody in that position. So anyways, that's my 2 cents on how I have my salon set up. All right, so moving on to the next brand. Honestly, I don't know. Sometimes people are like, how do you do it all? And I'm like, well, it's because I have a lot of help. Like, I could not be doing this without delegating the shit out of so many things. But we've got the Biz Tool Boutique and then Charlie, the ecom brand. So Charlie, our ecom brand, we are kind of back and forth into whether or not we want to sell that brand. Right now, we're looking at an offer that we've just been given for the brand. And I think with this one, it's really hard because I feel like we worked so hard in building up this brand and I scaled it back for a while, but I'm sure many of you know, like having somebody else take on your brand is just a really scary thing, but also making sure that like you're getting what you want for it. Because if you're not going to get what you want for it, like I'd rather just let it like, I'd honestly rather it just like crumble to the ground than just like sell it for not as much as I want to sell it for. Like I'd rather keep the IP from that business than not do what I want with it. So I'm back and forth with that brand right now on, I think we're going to give it like another hot go for the last quarter of the year and see how we go with it and see how we feel next year. And we've really been running that, like we hardly do anything for that brand because we worked so hard in building up that I guess the like organic search with that, like our Charlie Velcros are #1 on Google, like, and that just happened because it was, the amount of UGC that we have on it, just the organic reach is amazing. So I think we're going to give that kind of a little bit more of a go. Like I said, we had a pretty crazy start to the beginning of the year and I kind of lost my motivation to run that brand. And now that I've got a bit of time back, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we should just give this another little shot and see where we go with it. We had put a product line into that brand, like of hair products, and we haven't really pushed it much. And I kind of don't know if I want to continue with that or we want to just, continue with the rollers instead and really just scale that back and, see how that goes. But if you or anybody you know is interested in buying the Charlie brand, you can get into contact with me and make me an offer. Or I might just say no to everybody and just keep running it forever until it's just run to the ground. So there's that. And then the Biz Tool. So the Biz Tool, I feel like this is the thing. Is like when I started the Biz Tool Boutique, I kind of lost my motivation with the ecom as much because I found that I was just losing my motivation with Charlie because it was a physical product and not making the same impact as I can when you are, working with other salon owners and when what you are doing is really helping somebody. Like, it's like, yeah, great. Like rollers can like give you this volume in your hair and it looks amazing and blah, blah, blah. But it's not like life changing. Like, whereas like selling somebody a pricing program that they're going to get their return on investment for like straight away and have a much better financial year, that makes me feel so much better than selling, rollers. And I think that's where the change had kind of happened. I think if I hadn't started the Biz Tool that I probably would have continued to love and push the Charlie brand a lot more. But I think as an entrepreneur, I think sometimes you have these opportunities or things come up and you decide to like pivot and change lanes on what you're doing. And that's kind of where I'm at now and just really discovering what I actually like to do. And it isn't ecom. It isn't buying and shipping product. And so with that, we've been concentrating a lot throughout the year on the Biz Tool and how we can make that better, how we can make better impact for clients and how we can get to the next level. The podcast that we're doing now, I really wanted to level up and I really wanted to change sort of the direction. Whereas I used to talk to more like salon owners, and we would talk shop. We have episodes called like Talking Shop. And I just find that there gets to a certain point in running a salon where you kind of feel like you've kind of talked about it all. You've talked till it's death about salon ownership. And although I still love having, those strategy sessions and we love talking about stuff, not that much has changed in the salon world in the last 15 years. So I really love talking to other business owners that are in totally different businesses and things like the marketing behind running the salon. So instead of just talking to a salon owner about what they're doing for marketing, I love talking to somebody that does marketing for salons. Like, I really love having those conversations with different types of entrepreneurs, and just taking things from, I think when you meet somebody else and you talk to a different business owner and you hear about things that you're doing and you're listening to a podcast and they give you these great ideas and you're inspired by it, you can take a bit of that inspiration and apply it to your own business to make your own business unique. Whereas if you're listening to another salon owner and they're telling you what they're doing with their business and you take a piece of their business and apply it to yours, now you're just a copycat. So I think it gives you a totally different, a different way of being able to like draw inspiration, that you can do things differently within your business because you're drawing inspiration from different industries, not just inspiration from very similar businesses, because it's really all about staying unique with branding and to get noticed and keep the clients coming in and to really keep above. You want to be doing things differently. And if all you're doing is listening to other salon owners all the time, you're really not doing things differently. You're really just doing them the same. So that's, again, my 2 cents of where we're at with the Biz Tool, is that we've got these digital products that we love doing. We've got the podcast that we are, meeting some really interesting guests. And now we're about to open up our mentorship opportunities for salon owners so that I can basically give you my experiences and what I'm learning through other people. And sometimes somebody just needs like a friend in business to really just go, what do you think of this? I'm going to do this. A strategy session, a friend, maybe you're having team management issues. You're not really sure how to go about a certain conversation, things like that. And I love helping with stuff like that. So we're going to be opening up a bit of more of a mentorship opportunity this year, which I'm really excited about. So yeah, that's where we're at with a Biz Tool. Hope you guys enjoyed my little rant there. We're out of time here. Luca, the producer, is going to make some assumptions about me if I don't get off soon. So thank you guys. And I hope you enjoyed the show. Please 5 stars us and subscribe, and let me know if you have any questions, DMs, go on the Biz Tool, get into the funnel like everybody else. We'd love that. We love it when people are in our funnel. Okay. See you guys. Bye.